My name is Nick Valentine. I'm originally from Manchester in the UK, and I'm one of the co-founders of the Chain movement. I am a mechanical engineer, and I work for the UK Civil Service. So first of all, what actually is Chain? Why we thought it was important, and really the story of how we put it together, and really what our aspirations for it are as well. So they are to present a cross-section of the world of engineering. We want to show all those different disciplines that are out there. We want to educate our delegates, so that's you guys, the current issues that you might encounter as engineers. We want to showcase the different institutions that are out there, and importantly, we want to show how they can help you, and particularly what they do in the local area, the events that they run, and the support they can give you in your professional development. We want to encourage young engineers to build a community of young engineers in their local area, and to get involved with that existing community, get involved with those institutions that are already there. And we also want to inspire and create opportunities for everyone who attends these events. So those three key things. We want to build that community, we want to share knowledge, and we want to raise awareness of those different institutions and organizations that are there to help you and to represent your profession. So how does Chain achieve that? Well, Chain is tailored to each specific area that it works in. We don't dictate and say you've got to use this format. You can tailor that format to each locality. So we've got locations in Manchester, Bristol and London. Dubai is the first one that's taken place outside of the UK. The first event was run in Manchester back in 2016. But why did we do that? Why did we feel the need to develop an event like this? So there were a few things that came together, three things specifically that came together. I was at university at the time in Greater Manchester, and I did a lot of volunteering for the Institution of Mechanical Engineers. We had just had one of our monthly meetings, and we'd had quite a poor turnout for that event, and we were discussing, why has this happened? Why aren't people turning up to our events? And the conclusion that we came to was that people simply didn't know that these events were taking place. So we were wondering, well, how are we going to get the message out there? We know that there are thousands of engineers in Greater Manchester in England and in Northwest England as a whole. There are young engineers there. How do we let them know what we're doing and how we can support them? I had also recently attended an event in a place called Salford, and that was an event consisting of a number of 20-minute talks discussing ideas, projects, the arts, and it was a format that I really liked. So people just had to get their ideas across. They didn't have time to go into too much technical detail. It was just to get that germ of an idea planted in you. It was just enough time to do that. And the idea behind that event, that all it was just getting ideas across. And then the third thing was that whilst at university, I helped organise a talk on building information modelling. Now, as a mechanical engineer, this is a civil engineering and construction field, so it's not something that I thought I'd be that interested in. However, I found it absolutely fascinating. And during that talk, the speaker actually told us how BIM had come from manufacturing and mechanical engineering. So I thought, well, how am I only just hearing about this now? What other ideas are out there from the other disciplines that maybe my discipline can use, mechanical engineering can use, and maybe the electricals can learn from the civils and the aeronautical engineers? How do we get people to see across those disciplines rather than me just sitting in my mechanical engineering bubble? So I had these three ideas and concepts floating around in my head. I remember sitting on the tram in Manchester thinking, well, why don't I, with my friends, put on an event? So why don't we take that format, so the 20 minutes where you only have time to talk about an idea, we get a speaker from each of the different institutions and we get them to sell us an idea. That way we have talks from all those different disciplines. We get to see the different engineering institutions that are available to us. They get the opportunity to sell themselves. Straight away, I phoned my friend. I phoned him and said, I've got this idea. Do you think it's actually worth putting together? Do you think it's worth doing? He essentially said, yeah, he'd understood those concepts for a while. We'd talked about them, but it took just that germ of an idea to get it all going. So I talked it through with him, and I couldn't have done it without the support of my friends that I'd built up through the Institution of Mechanical Engineers. And we wanted to keep that format of only 20-minute talks, because you're going to have a range of people from various different disciplines. you're not going to want to go into too much technical detail because not everyone is going to understand. And we wanted to keep that format. We just want to get the ideas across. And I liked the idea that it was all about telling stories rather than going into deep technical content. You tell those stories to people. So I'd spoken it through with my friend, and from that point, it took a lot of work to do. So the institutions in Manchester were very much used to 1 hour lectures. They weren't used to the idea of, say, a day event, which Manchester turned out to be. We did it for a day with multiple talks, just lasting 20 minutes. This was a new concept to them, and it was quite hard to help them to understand what we were trying to achieve, particularly to get them to commit. So we needed to get funding from them, and it was quite hard to get them to understand the whole concept. So what we did is we went and physically spoke to each of the institutions rather than just firing emails at them and directing them to the website. We physically went to them, we explained the concept, and we came up with the ideas which I dated earlier. It took a lot of work to do, but it was worthwhile doing, both from an institutional perspective. The young people who attended, the engineers who attended, got to see that wide range of institutions that we had in Greater Manchester. And from a personal perspective, I feel like I developed a lot from it, but it did take a lot of work. And it's been happening now in Manchester every year since. So earlier this year, we ran our 4th event in Manchester. We've had people like the Chief Engineer of the Royal Air Force attend. We've had the Lord Mayor of Greater Manchester attend. So we get some quite high-profile people attending these events in the UK, and that's something that I personally feel quite proud of. That's a nice reward to have from putting the effort in. If you've got an idea, give it a go. I was just sat on the tram. I phoned up my friend, said, "Shall we do this?" He said, "Yeah, let's at least try." A year later, we delivered that event, and 4 years on, here I am presenting to you guys. If you told me that 5 years ago, I would have told not to be stupid. That's ridiculous. But here we are. If you've got an idea, whatever it is, whether it's to do with your hobby, whether it's to do with work, just give it a go. You'll be surprised at how much you can achieve from it, and you'll be surprised at how much your network can help you. You're always finding, oh, you do filming. Oh, can you help film my event? Yeah, that's really helpful, and you'll be surprised at what support that your network and your friends can give you. So as you're attending this event, have a think about what you'd like to see from change, because it's a great thing to do. It does build your network, and it helps you develop all kinds of different skills that you might not get from technical aspects of engineering. So I've learned loads about project management and really events management as well, because that's what fundamentally these are, and public speaking as well. So I've learned a lot from doing this. So if you'd like to do the same, yeah, get involved and help organise one of these events and help build that engineering community. We all want to be more effective engineers. To do that, we'd like to build the community of engineers so we can share those ideas, and ultimately we want to help build a better world. And yeah, you can contact direct me on LinkedIn if that's what you'd rather do. So yeah, thank you very much.